Russia-Ukraine war latest news. Paul Whelan has a long road ahead to recover from Russian prison years. His attorney told Newsweek that Paul Whelan needs time to rebuild his life after 5 years in a Russian prison, but he is grateful. The greatest transnational prisoner swap since the Cold War freed Paul Whelan, 54, and several Americans, including Wall Street Journal reporter Evan Gershkovich, from Russian control more than 3 weeks ago. Russia received 8 spies and agents in a secret transaction. In exchange, Putin released 16 detainees, including Whelan, a former U.S. Marine and computer security official who was imprisoned in Russia in 2018 and convicted of espionage. Paul's doing very well despite the circumstances, Whelan family attorney Ryan Fahey told Newsweek on August 26. He has a hard road ahead to rebuild his life here, but he's doing well. That's due to his community and average Americans' compassion in welcoming him home. Captivity lasted 2,043 days for Whelan. August 1 saw him and other convicts exchanged in Ankara, Turkey. President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris received them at Joint Base Andrews in Maryland before flying them to San Antonio, Texas, for medical treatment. Whelan, who lost his home while abroad and arrested, has cared for his elderly parents in Michigan since then. His twin brother David, brother Andrew, and sister Elizabeth live outside Michigan. "I think he's delighted to come home," Fahey stated. "He's resilient, but he faces a struggle. He lost 5 years of earning and resource generation during a crucial time. He turned 50 in Russia. As expected, it affected his life, but he seems to be handling it well." A King Gump partner Fahey worked at the DOJ's National Security Division, which handles espionage and foreign agent sanctions. He's had regular contact with Whelan more often since his imprisonment owing to concerns about Russia listening in on phone calls and targeting Fahey due to his field experience. After learning about Russia's charges against Whelan, he believed the former Marine was used as a bargaining chip for Maria Butina's 2018 arrest for attempting to influence the NRA and U.S. policy by favoring Kremlin policies. She later admitted conspiring to act as a foreign agent. Both sides worked to free Paul, knowing that the Whelan family was struggling to gain traction in Washington and deal with the unpredictable and pretty chaotic experience of his imprisonment and Fahey's search for a pro bono case to use his wrongful detainee expertise. Fahey and Whelan's sister Elizabeth visited D.C. to speak with Capitol Hill members over 5 years. They updated Senate and House committees on Whelan's release. They met with first Donald Trump administration veteran John Bolton and Fiona Hill. Hill focuses on Russian history. "It was profile-boosting, making sure the White House, State Department, and NSC prioritized and thought through this in every way," Fahey added. As Whelan remained in prison, his siblings learned how to work with various government authorities and needed less of Fahey. Elizabeth continued to attend international hearings and engage with U.S. ambassadors in Washington. David ran the family's media campaign for years, updating the press on his twin brother's illness and criticizing Putin. Elizabeth and David discontinued updates after Whelan's release, allowing their brother control the story. Travel and other reasons informed Fahey and the Whelan family of the impending swap days in advance, but the number of people and nations involved was unknown until it happened. Fahey represented other wrongful inmates and learned about prisoner rehabilitation from Whelan's case. That's Whelan's situation after losing his job, residence, and resources due to prison. Fahey said it's less about fairness or comparing particular cases, but how the U.S. will continue to treat similar circumstances as part of a 21st century security conundrum. Gershkovich and Brittany Griner spent less time in foreign jails than Whelan. "What will we do as a nation to make this less useful for nation-state adversaries?" Fahey stated. "And how do we discourage people from using Americans as pawns for foreign policy goals?" He added, "That's Paul's tale, right? They exploited Paul repeatedly. That was the Russians using Paul to divide Americans for their own gain. That's my take."